there to make a difference. Very frustrating. People that work in our fire stations, colleagues, are people who are, by and large, type A personalities that you might have guessed by now in working with me. They like to get things done. They do not like to sit and wait, or they do not like to go slow when they know somebody's in distress. They want to get there, they want to help them. And the frustration that I feel here today is if this is being characterized as some emotional reaction to an incident, that's false, or at least misleading. This pointed out a hole in a system that we can repair. And I got the mayor's instructions viscerally when he said, do not bring to me a solution that has ongoing costs. And what we brought to you was a solution consistent with the mayor's direction, with what I think the council has said is its highest priority, and that is protecting the public first. This does that, and it does it in a creative way. I want to thank the fire chief for his, honestly, outstanding work in bringing this proposal today. I pushed him a lot, and he brought a lot of different things that we had hard conversations about. I pushed the firefighters a lot, and we had a lot of conversations that we had really tough discussions around, including me going there one night for 3 hours and getting barraged. And I wanted them to do it, and we talked it out. And I think they're at the place where they understand why we're doing this. I'm asking for your support, not for me, not for the fire group, but let these folks do their job. Give them the equipment they need to do their job. That's all they ask for. And I appreciate more than I can say the service of the men and women that make up the Portland Fire Bureau, way more than I used to when I worked there. I from afar, appreciate it more than I ever did as a member. So thank you, Chief, for your work. Thank, of course, all the men and women that have helped bring this together. Aye.
Fritz.
Well, thank you, Commissioner Lander, for your lead on this. Am I correct in thinking that the Rescue Boat 17 is the Shirley Ann?
That's another boat. That's a separate boat.
It's a separate boat.
It's a smaller craft rescue boat.
Okay. Well, and that, I apologize for breaching decorum by asking a question in the middle of my vote, but it's another rescue craft, which
I'll
was...
let it go this time. Outrageous.
Stop it.
But next time.
As I was saying, that the Shirley Ann is a rescue craft which was funded by the community after a tragedy. And it's important when we do find things that we can do better to do them better. I do appreciate Commissioner Saltzman's questions about how to pay for this. And I would like the additional information from the bond measure. I know you know it, but I don't have that information, and I'd like to have that. And of course, if there's any concerns, I'd bring them directly to you. But I think it's a high priority. There are more people on the river, as the mayor was saying, and we do need to make sure that we take care of people wherever they are and however they need to be taken care of. I appreciate the discussion because it's helped me understand why there won't be increased manpower and womanpower costs ongoing, and how you're proposing to fund the upgrades to the station. So this has been very, very helpful. Thank you. Aye.
Fish.
So what I've learned in my 15 months is that on some issues you have to have some basic protocols that you follow to help make decisions, because not every issue that comes before us is the same weight, and on not every issue do I feel qualified to second guess the judgment of others who we've asked to make the recommendation. So we have to have some framework. So I have two guiding principles in this area. One is that I am grateful for the commissioners in charge, my colleagues who have taken responsibility for public safety bureaus, and they are not always the easiest bureaus to lead. And I am generally inclined to defer to them on recommendations involving public safety, particularly where they have consulted with the chief or whoever is at the head of the organization, in this case Chief Klum, and that person being a public safety professional with a lifetime of work, backing them up. So if there is an area where I am inclined to give deference, it is where a colleague who is in charge of a public safety bureau makes a reasonable recommendation. It's backed up by the support of the chief of the organization, who, after all, is a public safety professional chosen to lead the organization. And I'm very reluctant to step in and second-guess those judgments because I frankly don't have the life experience or the background or the training to do so. Now, there's all kinds of questions I can ask, and if it doesn't pass my smell test, I'm not afraid to state my objection. But that's my framework for an issue like this. The second principle is that, as Commissioner Fritz and as Commissioner Saltzman have said, public safety is our highest priority. There's nothing more important than maintaining the health and safety of our citizens. Chief Klum and I were at a gathering of lifeguards not long ago, and we gave a special commendation to 4 lifeguards who were stationed at North Portland Pool this summer and saved the life of a 9-year-old. And I remember the anguish we felt when we first heard about the incident and the near death that occurred, and the concern that everyone in the organization had for a couple of weeks as the kid went to the hospital and then the follow-through. And it's inconceivable to me, as the commissioner in charge of parks, that we could have lost a child in one of our pools. It is inconceivable to me. And I can't think of anything that, in any preventative measure that I would not bring to council if I thought it would enhance our ability to save a life in one of our pools. And I think in this area we all probably have a similar feeling, which is one death is too many. One precious life, one child is too many. So those are the two kinds of principles that I bring to bear as I look at this issue. And my own experience was the near drowning which occurred in one of our pools. This is a request for $400,000 to fund a vessel which I actually, even before this debate occurred, knew was something at some point we'd be discussing, because when I toured the fireboat station on Jansen Beach, I got the briefing from the firefighters there about all the restrictions they were operating under. They couldn't go more than 5 miles an hour because of the impact on houseboats and other vessels. They had other kinds of challenges, all of which inhibited their ability to meet their mission. And so to me, this is not surprising that we're having this discussion today about having a more nimble craft centrally located to deal with these kinds of problems. I appreciate that there are some questions that are still out there that we can continue to discuss. But this is not an exact science. This is doing the best we can with the information we have. And I am satisfied, based on your presentation, Chief, and the briefing that I got, that this will strengthen our public safety. This will help prevent future tragedies as occurred at Selwood. And this will give the very wonderful men and women of your Bureau another tool to save a life. And that, I think, goes to the top, goes to the head of the list, particularly where we're talking about saving the life of a child, which I think all of us here feel would be our highest priority. So I thank you for the work you've done very promptly to address this issue. I think your commitment to eat the cost, to absorb the cost and find other ways to fund the renovation of the station and the ongoing costs is honorable. I, as one commissioner, do not feel, though, that if you're unable to meet that goal, I would be inflexible in considering some other supplemental request. I don't think that's fair to you, but I take you at your word that you'll make best efforts to do so. Commissioner Leonard, thank you for your leadership on this. This, of course, is an emotional issue because you and I have children, and could imagine what would happen if one of our children fell off a bridge and was stuck in the river screaming and dying. And so it's emotional in that sense, but I don't believe this issue is being addressed emotionally. I think you've presented a cogent and well-reasoned argument as to why we should make this investment, and I think the public will be better for it. So I'm pleased to vote aye.
Saltzman?
Well, I'm not going to be able to support this for the reasons I've alluded to. I think, despite the protestations, this is not an emotional decision. It is. The first paragraph of the report is all about the May 23rd tragedy. There's really no analysis given of statistics supporting this. You didn't even seem to know that yourself, how many rescue incidents there have been. And when we're talking about a general fund budget that goes to keep city employees paid, goes to support programs like youth employment, and we have a bond program that is eligible to pay for this, I think we go to the bond proceeds first. And we just shouldn't be backdooring ourselves into budgetary commitments through this approach. And so that's why I'm opposed to it. I think it's an emotional decision driven by passion. It's committing city general fund dollars at a time when we cannot be committing them. And there's another source to pay for it, which hasn't been investigated and brought back to our attention or even looked at, I think, thoroughly by us. So for those reasons, I do oppose. I certainly commend the efforts of Commissioner Leonard and his passion on this issue. Certainly as police commissioner, I was just as affected by the incidents of May 23rd. But this is not the right way to budget general fund dollars, especially when another source exists. And I'm not on real firm ground about no subsequent general fund commitments or that a grant is going to pay for seismic renovations of a fire station. Those are kind of very ephemeral things, I think, for me to be sort of buying into at this point. So I respectfully vote no.